Hello and welcome back here for game number 4, where FlyQuest aims to be the first team to hand Cloud9 a loss. I'm Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, happy to get into my third set of casting games of this decade with Mr. Joshua Jat Leesman. I'm counting them up too.
Yeah, I was counting them up. Did you ask for that, or did they write that in just to troll
They
you?
wrote it in for me because I had already forgotten.
Perfect. It's great to cast with you again.
Writers are always looking out for us. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the starting roster. Selecting the blue side, it is Cloud9 with Licorice in the top lane, Blaber in the jungle, Nisqy at mid with Zven and Vulcan bot lane and support, and the coaches, you know them, you love them, it's Reaper and Westrise.
Yeah, and before we see their competitors, Ovely did catch up with Zven after winning Player of the Week in Week 2.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Cloud9's bot laner, Zven, as well as Week 2's MasterCard Player of the Week. Congratulations on that. Now, before we get into the actual interview, Zven, you got to open up your trophy, because this is my favorite part. Da-da-da-da! Let's take a look. Take that baby out. We'll go ahead, pass it off to the side. It's so cute. It's actually so cute. I know you have your mic. I'll hold it up to you.
Well,
I'm trying to help you.
I actually really like it. I wish I could have known that this was going to be post, so I could get a different post. I really wanted the finals, you know, the...
Oh, you wanted that one?
Yeah. But
Didn't that kind of backfire, though?
Yeah, but it doesn't make it less funny.
All right, no, that's totally right. But I mean, this is actually well-deserved by you. You have been playing absolutely out of your mind. I've spoken with some of your peers, and they've all, you know, basically said that you are the AD carry to beat right now. But I want to ask you, do you think that you are currently playing as the best that you've ever been?
I don't think I'm at the best I've ever been, but I'm definitely playing better than the last 2 years. So there's that. But I think I'm not the player to beat. My team is just the team to beat. And I happen to be playing that role on this team.
That's a great way to think about it. I mean, right now you are leading in KDA and you have absolutely 0 deaths. You're deathless right now. Now, how much of that is on you and how much is that on Vulcan?
It's all me. But the whole death thing today will change because we're playing as FlyQuest, and I did make a promise on my Twitter, twitter.com/Sven, to run down today for the planet. So FlyQuest plants trees for every death of their opponents, right? So today, if I have no deaths, I'm gonna run down to the fountain for nature, right?
Okay, well, clearly you're not paying attention to your own social media because Cloud9 is working with FlyQuest. Cloud9, for every Cloud Drake that you kill and for every kill that you pick up, Cloud9 is also donating towards that initiative and planting those trees. So I think you need to pay attention a little bit more. But no, let's go talk about that. So you are going against FlyQuest and as well as Dignitas this weekend. Much tougher opponents compared to the teams that you've faced so far. Yeah. What kind of challenges do you think that they're going to bring coming into this week?
Fly is looking pretty good right now. Last week they had Pio's Rumble game was pretty good against Dignitas, so it looks like FlyQuest is better than Dignitas, but they're both like the second and third best teams right now in the league. So this week is going to be a real test for us. I think the first 4 games weren't against the best opponents, so this week will be a deciding factor if we're actually as good as we think we are. So yeah. All
right, well, Zven, last question before I let you go prepare for your next game. Once again, pizza party Zven when?
But nah, I don't know. Like it's just the whole cosplaying thing is not really my thing. Why is this?
I'm going to keep asking until it happens. But Zven, thank you so much. And for everyone else who's watching at home, you can vote for who you think should be the player of the week for Week 3. All you have to do is tweet at MasterCard Nexus, and who knows, you could go home with one of these mini statuettes. But Zven, once again, thank you. And back to the casters to get us into the next game.
Don't worry about it, Sven. Sometimes they try to get me to do all sorts of cosplays too, and I feel the same way. You just got to scratch your chin about it sometimes.
Yeah, I love how honest Sven is as well. Whether it was funny at his expense, he knows that it's funny. Yeah. And he knows that he has the best KDA in the league with 0 deaths. Funnily enough, if he does run it down, his KDA is going to stay the same based on how we track it statistically because we don't differentiate between 0 and 1 deaths.
Well, as long as he runs it down one time. That's true. If we start sprinting it down, if we start marathon running this, it's not exactly going to be the best state of the game, but the man has been putting up the numbers.
Yeah, and you can see there just some of the numbers for Cloud9. They've gotten every Baron. They actually have the top 2 players in CSD at 15. They've gotten 6 of 8 possible Heralds in 4 games. They have the best gold at 15 in the league. They've just been completely dominating everyone.
And we'll see if their opponents today can hand them their first loss of the year. Coming up against them, it's FlyQuest. Viper's there in the top lane. Santorin's in the jungle with all them trees. PowerOfEvil in mid. WildTurtle and IgNar bot lane and support with Coach Curry.
Yeah, and as they mentioned, the exciting news for TreeQuest fans is that C9 has actually joined them for the Game 1 matchup. They're planting 1 tree for every kill against FlyQuest, 100 trees if they win, and 10 trees for every Cloud Drake. So that'll be good either way, depending on who wins.
Now, what I'm looking at here is it's automatically going to be 100 trees, no matter who wins the game, because they both have the same bet on that. But what we want for maximum trees planted, we want a bloodbath of a game, kills left, right, and center, and we want a 7 Drake match that has either a Therapy Dragon or a Wind Dragon on it for maximum number of Ocean and Wind Drakes.
I mean, that would be a nice game. I'm down for some early game action because a lot of the global games I've been watching, particularly LCK, have been very slow. One thing I love about Cloud9, though, is that they have been forcing more early skirmishes than any other team in the LCS. And what's also interesting is FlyQuest, this surprise second-place team, has also been very active early when compared to the LCS norm. So rather than seeing, this is, classic caster curse, rather than seeing the late-game scaling picks, I think there's a good chance we see more early-game skirmishers with these two teams.
And then remember, while a patch has recently dropped and we're on 10.3 for the live servers, we're still on 10.2 here for competitive play, and that means Akali has not received that 11% win rate nerf bat straight to the kneecap, so she's going to continue being banned out every single game here. Set and Elise also banned out by FlyQuest as Cloud9. They pay respect to the Riven tax. They ban that away, along with Lucian and Blitzcrank, and Rumble is the lock-in here for C9.
Yeah, and you can see the reason that Rumble has made it through pick and bans. He was actually 85% banned through 2 weeks of the LCS in 17 of the 20 games. It's because of the high targeting of bans. The fact that Riven and Blitzcrank were target banned left a bigger power pickup, and C9 locks it. And if the draft is any indication, we're going fast. So many teams dilly-dally and hover before locking. Not either of these guys. We're 5 picks in, maybe 30 seconds after pick started.
And we see both bot lanes locked in their entirety for the two sides. It's Senna and Tahm Kench for FlyQuest going up against Aphelios and Nautilus for Cloud9. Some very common faces appearing recently in the current meta of the game. Aatrox locked in. So what we're seeing is most likely mirrored lanes here in the first 3 picks for each side.
Yeah, the nice thing about Rumble, though, is we know that it's a very flexible pick and could likely go mid. There's a chance Aatrox follows it for sure, especially in these contexts. But PowerOfEvil, who, by the way, leads the league in damage per minute, has played Rumble mid twice already. He's actually 2 of the 3 Rumble in LCS plays. So extra value for C9 to have that takeaway.
Let's see how these bans are going to shake out here. Neither side having a jungler. Both sides still looking at a solo laner as well. Camille will be the ban from FlyQuest, and Syndra the ban from Cloud9.
Yeah, so you can see Cloud9, I think, is dedicating bans towards securing a better Rumble matchup, since the game really unlocks for Cloud9 through mid-jungle. It's a large way that they won last year with Zven, Skaron, and Nisqy. There's no reason that needs to change with Blaber, Nisqy. So making sure that mid-jungle 2v2 can be good is beneficial, and that's why we're seeing those mid-lane bans. But interestingly, FlyQuest bans LeBlanc as well, so they're still not sure where that Rumble's going.
LeBlanc banned out, 1 more to go. Cloud9, what's it going to be? Are we going to continue to focus around that Rumble matchup, trying to narrow down that pool that they could pick from, keep Rumble in a spot where he's able to be that mid-game team-fighting powerhouse that we know him as? Final ban of this game is going to be Orianna.
Yeah, so that does signal to me that it is likely going to be the mid lane jungle. They're picking 4th the Jarvan because neither team had picked junglers. Additionally interesting there, where they're flexing the Rumble top now because the Qiyana was left open and 2 of the stronger ranged matchups are already gone. So I love watching Reaper drafts, partially because it makes me say things that in retrospect are like, what's he doing? Just because he switcheroos so much. Like, those bans could have been different things, but here, having the Qiyana mid, I think, is pretty smart.
And the response from FlyQuest may be, oh, it's Diana. So we'll get to see that go up against the assassin in the Qiyana. Diana, very potent against opponents that have to get up in her face. The shield, very powerful at dueling.
Yeah, we saw this matchup a couple of times already, actually. I'm not sure if it was in LEC or in LCS, but it is one of the better melee matchups into Qiyana. Extremely volatile, and I like how both teams have mixed damage profiles between jungle mid, so it's not like you can do an easy Mercury Treads or Ninja Tabi buy to avoid it. So it's going to be a very explosive mid-jungle matchup.
And one thing to remember about Diana, for those of you who might not have been fully up to date on the changes. The champion was recently reworked to swap the old R with the old E.
Yep.
So she does not have any gank assist potential pre-level 6. The ultimate still has the vacuum on it. It pulls you in, it slows you, it does a ton of AoE damage. However, since the dash is now on E, CC's not quite there.
The exchange of flowers on their way off the stage from the coaches. Very nice to see.
And this, as we said at the very beginning, FlyQuest has the opportunity to be the first team to beat these guys.
Yeah.
Cloud9 is the only team in the LCS that has managed to escape the first 2 weeks of play without a single loss.
And statistically, after watching Dignitas lose to TSM, if FlyQuest wins this game, they're actually in first. Because they'd both be 4-1, but they'd own the head-to-head tiebreaker against Cloud9.
And for FlyQuest fans, that is exciting, man.
Yeah.
This is FlyQuest. This is a team that a lot of people rank at the middle of the pack, and they are challenging for the top. That guy says he's here to watch FlyQuest plant some trees. Let's see how it goes down here as we're getting on to Summoner's Rift for the 4th game of the day.
Really excited for this matchup because of FlyQuest's surprising start, and also even a little bit of surprise of how dominant C9 has been. Like, you expect them to be good. Don't know if we expect them to be this good this early.
And as the crowd starts the chants and as the champions make their way out onto the Rift, Aphelios is standing by with a sideline report with both of the coaches. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. Yes, I am here with both Curry and Reaper of FlyQuest and Cloud9, and this is so wholesome. I caught them backstage, and they both actually exchanged gifts as a sign of what? This partnership between you two, all to plant the tree. So, Curry, any words that you want to say to Reaper before we go into this game?
Let's just make sure we plant a lot of trees today.
Planting the trees. Reaper, for you.
Yeah, same.
Same. All right, short and sweet here. Let's hope that we plant that forest. Back to you guys.
Oh, they're looking for
So
a
that's
bloody
what we're
game
doing.
too.
Yeah,
they're
that's
looking for
what
a
we're
bloody
doing
game
here.
too.
No, like, oh yeah, we're really looking for, Tahm Kench to avoid the Qiyana dives. Nope, just plant some trees.
Good sign already. First Drake will be Mountain, which means it cannot be the Soul. So
okay.
we now have a 2 out of 3 chance of getting one of the Drake Souls that will ensure maximum planet saving.
It's true.
That's what I'm talking
There we
about.
go.
That's a
Good
good
stuff.
sign. The game itself has heard our prayers and come to answer. Let's see how these lanes break out. PowerOfEvil, as you said, the man who's currently topping the league in damage per minute. He is popping off in these performances recently for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it's also surprisingly the best start of his LCS career. He's never started a season 3-1, so a lot of positives early on for FlyQuest, and really them getting put to the test this year. Nothing would make them be taken seriously more than a win over Cloud9, who everyone you talk to, and also just looking at the standings, you can tell that they are the best team in the league right now.
And I like exactly how Zven worded it, because even when people are hyping him up saying, dude, you're playing awesome right now, like this is the return of the OG Niels. But he's saying, no, I'm playing better than I have been, but I'm playing like that on the best team.
Yeah, gotta point out right now, though, something that's happening. The jungle's getting split, but I'm really curious to know if Blaber notices it, because he's doing a 3-camp clear. If he knew that it was an invade, he would have done 2 camps and wiggle his way straight into blue buff. He did not. So there's a good chance, because he's Gragas, he's doing a 3-camp recall to buy Predator boots, but is going to end up getting 3-buffed.
And Licorice walks down now just to check that exact situation, see what's going on. Okay, the blue is gone. He's saying we got a problem here. But Santorin has already made his way back to his own jungle. Blaber walking towards bottom side, but as you said, no Predator boots available here. You have to wait for that first back to be able to buy him. You don't have a keystone effectively until that point, and that means Santorin is able to go over to his own blue, 3-buff complete.
It's good start from Santorin. Maybe not as great as we would think, though, because of what Licorice did. I really love how much information Licorice just gave Blaber with which to make decisions. So yes, his blue buff is gone, but Licorice let him know that his whole camp and whole quadrant wasn't clear. Wolves were still up, Gromp was still up, he can still take Scuttle, so he'll hit level 4 after doing this Scuttle and Gromp just fine, and not actually be that far behind on the play. And the 2-for-1 that Licorice actually accomplished there is in case Santorin was going for a cheesy gank, since he just shoved the wave into the turret, he wasn't going to die in a 2v1. At worst, it would have been a 1-for-1, so really good play from Licorice there.
Speaking of a gank, Santorin may be looking to set something up here in the bottom side. Cloud9 does not want to step up too far. Santorin goes in, looks to find the knock-up, not going to grab a lot. Vulcan and Zven doing a good job playing correctly against this move from FlyQuest, and they honestly walk away barely worse for wear.
Yeah, that was excellent by Vulcan to actually cue the Jarvan EQ. It prevented the knockup onto either of them, and now Blaber's going for it.
Oh, Viper underneath the turret. Gonna have to try to outplay here.
Woo!
Licorice taken down below 100 HP, but it's still gonna be a 3v1. TP coming in, warding Cloud9 away, trying to say, don't you dare dive this, man. PowerOfEvil showing up to keep his teammates safe, and Cloud9 walks away.
They go for the dive, though. That's the type of early action that we've seen out of both C9 and FlyQuest. A lot of teams have actually just kind of accepted that the lanes aren't going to have action until 8 minutes, and then they swap up. Not these two. Santorin has been one of the most active early game junglers. You saw his early attempt bot, and you already see an attempted dive there by C9.
Important thing to note about that Cloud9 dive attempt, it was the flash used by Licorice there.
Yeah.
It was teleports forced out from both of the laners as they were both taken incredibly low, so those are not going to be available for either side. And while I'm talking about it, I want to point out this game. Massive TP advantage in the later stages of the game for FlyQuest. It is 3 teleports compared to 1. There are no additional teleports or summoner spellbooks or anything besides what Licorice has on the Rumble.
Yeah, that's really big, especially when we're talking about WildTurtle, which has been a hot topic of conversation in terms of how do you swap up for that at 8 minutes, especially in this game where one team has teleport and one doesn't. The big challenge for Cloud9 right now, since they're the team, if you notice, without teleport on their AD carry, is to try and get WildTurtle to burn that early. The fact that Zven has a combat summoner, they would like to be able to push Turtle into the wave here and make him use teleport before 8 minutes. Otherwise, WildTurtle is basically conceded for free.
Keep your eyes on that as we go through the next 2 minutes of the game, working towards that 8-minute mark. 5.5 minutes in, first Drake has spawned. You can see nobody heading towards him yet, but there is control ward vision down in the pit from Blaber. Sometimes teams like to go for these nice and early, but doesn't seem to be the play here from either side in this matchup. Santorin on the bottom side of his jungle, still prowling around over there. No kills yet on the board from either team. Mobility boots, the rush here coming out from Nisqy on the Qiyana. Sometimes we see Qiyana's go for an early Tiamat instead if they want to get extra wave push potential, but he just wants to make sure he's able to rotate around to these fights.
Yeah, he may not have TP, but he's got really fast feet with that mobility boots. But it's gonna be tricky. Like, unless Blaber gives him river control, he can't leave that lane because PowerOfEvil will out-trade him. Here comes Blaber, though.
Cloud9, control over the river, control over the scuttle. That one's secured, makes it so FlyQuest doesn't have any opportunity to really try to sneak any sort of a Drake should they get the chance, but when the mid lane is not in their favor, when the bottom lane is shoved up underneath the turret, kind of hard to go for one of those kinds of plays anyway. See if IgNar and Santorin can make anything happen here. Viper in trouble though. Licorice finding a very good trade. 100% HP left on the Rumble. Viper down to about a third.
Really interesting moment in the game right here. With both top laners having no TP, and a level 6 fight against a Qiyana is always incredibly risky. Also notice the way that the bottom lane is consistently getting pushed up, and how now Vulcan has control of the river. So whoever has most control of the river is most likely to be able to do Drake, but unless they have enough of a window, they're not going to be able to invest that time.
Zven and Vulcan will continue keeping control of this bottom side. Shove those waves up. Make Turtle and IgNar farm underneath the turret. Put the pressure on nice and early. You can see a very slight CS advantage for Zven, but that's going to be evened up as Turtle farms up these last couple of minions. Jungler's not quite level 6. Remember, both these guys really explode in their gank potential once they've got the ulti.
I just saw the C9 ping, so look at this. WildTurtle did use teleport to go back to lane, and the wave in bot is actually pushed up right now. So after this wave hits, we're going to see these people recall, and we're going to see them run straight out towards that Rift Trail. That's what I think the play is here.
Watch the Cloud9 members. Is Jat correct? Does he have the inside knowledge? Ladies and gentlemen, yes.
It's not inside knowledge. Every team is doing this.
I'm going to pretend like, let me talk you up, damn it. We need to pretend like this is secret information.
Yeah, it's in the code.
Yes, I need some 5 heads in the chat for what you've clearly deciphered here.
Yeah.
This is the Da Vinci Code, and you are just deciphering the entire thing as Cloud9 head towards the Herald.
All right, well, in the code, you can see C9 has first setup, but the question is, since they've started it, can they burn it down fast enough? Probably, because WildTurtle, as we know, Senna is very slow at clearing waves of turret, but Santorin's going to be coming in here. It's just almost impossible to fight a Rumble, Qiyana, and River.
Turtle does have the Dawning Shadow ready to fire. We know Senna ulti can have a pretty big impact in fights like these. Santorin's over the wall, but he goes over with the Blast Cone, so the EQ gets him right back to safety. It is Cloud9 picking up the Rift Herald, no contest.
Yeah, and you could see FlyQuest was actually matching it anyway rather than getting pressure elsewhere, so this could be a disaster for FlyQuest.
Oh, nicely done by Blaber there, using the body slam and the flash, followed up immediately by the ult. It puts Viper in a spot where he's not getting out. They want to give it away to Zven, and there you go, one shot in the back, first blood.
Perfect execution of post Rift Herald by C9. Viper had to respect that because it's not just about acquiring the Herald, it's about finding a good way to drop it. You don't want to drop a Rift Herald in a lane alone because it'll give you 2.5 plates. You want to drop it in a lane where you've already killed 2.5 plates so it can secure the first turret. And notice how C9, well, I'll show it after. They're going to recall after this to get pressure, but we're just going to watch this gank one more time. Blaber just flashing. Viper didn't get the early flash, and at that point, he's just completely dead.
You gotta love the teamwork there just to make sure, hey, give the last hit to the guy who needs it. Sven's got the extra range with the Calibrum sniper rifle, takes him up to 550 to 650. Very easy to get that last shot there with the Ignite, giving the vision into the brush. As now FlyQuest finds themselves down, honestly, just a little bit more gold than the total 600 value, including assists of the first blood. So it's not like Cloud9 is completely just smashing this early game, but they are off to a cozy little lead for themselves.
And they're already so far ahead in pressure. Look where Zven is right now, and look at the minimap where the opponent duo lane is. They're actually a full 30 seconds ahead in tempo from the other team. So they can now spend this pressure advantage to get an uncontested Drake because they know that WildTurtle recalled and is that far behind where Zven is on the map.
A little bit of a slow first Drake, but considering both sides wanted to play for other things like that early Herald, not too surprising. That one is secured. Ocean Drake will be the second, so no Therapy Dragon here today. I'm a little bit sad on that.
Yeah.
But we still got a coin flip for whether or not we get Cloud Drake spawning for the rest of the game after.
Yeah, we still definitely have the trees to thank for this one, and it hasn't been that bloody, but we'll get the Drakes, and if Zven is deathless, he's already guaranteed us at least one.
Yeah, he's running it down in the fountain if he says he goes perfectly deathless this time, so we'll see. We'll see if he makes good on that or if the call of the KDA is too strong.
And just to talk a little bit more about how well C9 has been playing, every gold graph has been up and to the right because they take these small advantages and make them bigger. What I think is next is notice, even though there's a TP disadvantage on the map, they do have that top lane teleport if needed. They can summon the Rift Herald down here. These plates are already almost done. This is basically the turret, and FlyQuest is going to try to defend it, but they may die just because Rumble's going to be in that area.
Oh, baby, here comes your dive. They're looking to take down WildTurtle. Stasis going to be keeping him alive. Shelly underneath the turret. IgNar takes a bite, keeps his AD carry alive, but the turret itself will quickly fall. A little bit more damage will take that one down, and the play is, as you say, Cloud9. They use the Herald properly, and they're going to grab first turret.
They're a pleasure to watch right now. Like, I really like seeing like what a team has identified as an optimal strategy and them to just go through it perfectly in these games. Even Blaber covering Nisqy on his way back to mid. The fact that Licorice had actually moved mid lane in case of a river fight and now holds his teleport until the next big fight can happen.
And now that gold lead has ballooned up to over just about 2,000 gold because you had everybody down there. You got all that extra plate money, first turret bonus as well. Viper's escape route going to be cut off. Licorice dropping the equalizer in a way that makes Viper not able to immediately run back to the lane and to the safety of the turret, but because they don't have allies close enough, Cloud9 can't make a play off of it.
Yeah, Blaber is threatening for sure. Has ultimate if he gets the slow. Yep,
here comes Nisqy, chain CC!
Mid-jungle synergy. PoE thought he was safe because he had his Jarvan in the river a second ago. There was no safety there.
A supreme display of talent and crowd control makes it very easy to pick off an isolated opponent. When those two just weave those abilities together, lock them down, blow them up.
Whew. Okay, I've talked a lot about what C9 has done.
All right, let's talk about what FlyQuest has to do to keep themselves from bleeding out this game after we check the replay.
Yeah, I'm going to need a minute to think about this one because this was just, he has flash, but he doesn't want to use it, and Nisqy never gives him a moment. Notice how he walked over a control ward, flash EQ to guarantee the route, and then chained with the rest of the CC. It's like there was no time for PoE to react. What FlyQuest needs to do is neutralize the map as much as possible. They have pretty good lane setup right now. They've managed to push the top lane into turret, and the bottom lane is on C9's side. So that should give them a small window of time to get a little bit of control in this river with vision. So, like, just to hope they could get a pick before C9 fights them.
Here could be that potential pick. Vulcan flashing over the wall to stay alive. Santorin and IgNar cannot follow up and go for the kill there, so Vulcan with a good use of Summoner Spell to stay safe and get himself out of the FlyQuest clutches.
That was really good, though. You got to see how the side waves were pushed, so it gave them time to go into the river and make a play. And with the Senna mid lane, notice how they're contesting the wave. It's punishable if C9 can get a flank, but this is how he kind of needs to play Senna.
Oh, Vulcan tried to go for the hook there, wasn't able to get it, got stopped by the minion. Blaber looking to make some kind of a play here, but doesn't want to go too deep.
Here comes Santorin
coming in from behind. Blaber's down to half HP. The
Vulcan's
Senna
got a flash.
found its way out of Vulcan, and there comes the Cataclysm. Santorin's gonna get 2 stopwatches, but Zven brings in the firepower. IgNar's gonna be roasted alive, and the stasis will barely keep him in there. The equalizer's brought down, and that is fried catfish, baby. Cloud9 is going to town in this team fight. WildTurtle, he even has to flash away, but it is too damn little, too damn late.
Well, congratulations on C9 for moving to 5-0 in the LCS. It's been fun. There's still lots of games to play, but you can see how daunting it is to play these guys, because, like, logically, that was a pretty good place for FlyQuest to be. But not only do you have to have the right macro, you have to be able to out-skirmish them. And the stopwatch usage here is what defined the fight for C9. The double stopwatch as the teleport is channeling and as Zven is weaving his ultimate through, which buys enough time for Licorice to get there, and then layering the equalizer on top of the enemy stopwatch to punish. At this point, the fight's already won, and FlyQuest is trying to salvage. That was their mistake. Beautiful Qiyana ultimate coming in right at the end to secure the 4th kill of the skirmish.
FlyQuest unable to cut those losses. They lose so much. They're down 4,500 gold. 15 minutes into this game. Second Drake is alive. FlyQuest could be caught out of position. Vulcan goes in, but because Zven wasn't immediately there for the follow-up, Cloud9 does not want to overcommit. And I really like seeing this tempered aggression from this team.
Yeah.
Even though they're 4,000 gold ahead, they are not willing to walk into some sort of a play that could be less than optimal. They don't want to risk it.
And they don't have Rumble Ultimate, or they did not have Rumble Ultimate during that first initial trade of spells. So now that they do, you can see them moving up to get full control of this second dragon.
Cloud9 zoning their opponents away. Vulcan hanging out in the brush. There you go. He's able to find the dredge line onto the first target. Santorin going into the stasis. These stopwatches are just being smashed this game. Nisqy caught out off to the right, and he is blown up. Pretty important pick there coming out from the side of FlyQuest. PowerOfEvil looking to go forward even further. Ocean Drake taken very low, secured by Licorice. Blaber out over the wall. FlyQuest and PowerOfEvil won't be able to find anything else. Damn you, Infernal Dragon. This was not your game.
The 1 in 3 chance. Flowers.
Even the crowd disapproves.
Yeah. Tying charity work to RNG is a dangerous move.
It's very risky. It's very risky. That poor Infernal Dragon's gonna have a nightmare recovering from the bad PR of this.
Yeah.
He used to be everybody's favorite, but now the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, first he gets nerfed, right? It was like 10% for one of them last year. Now it's 4% AD and AP. Now this. What's next?
Just get off social media for a while, Infernal Dragon. You'll be fine. Let's see what Licorice is able to do down here in the bottom side, though, as Cloud9 still command a very comfortable lead here in this game. Just shy of 4,000 gold. 2-0 on the Drake count, 1-0 on turrets, 6-1 on kills. Every metric this game can be measured by C9's ahead.
Yeah, and how are they going to close this out? Also coming up, we're going to have Meteos, 100 Thieves Jungler, who's coming off a big victory today. Also, help breaking down this game. Got to hear his thoughts on Blaber v Santorin. I mean, Blaber continuing now his all-time best win rate of LCS players. Only getting better this season as they stay undefeated, but really adding a lot to his young career already.
And especially in the wake of following up a guy who was voted MVP in the previous split, where they took Team Liquid to 5 games in the grand final of summer in 2019. Cloud9 saying, no, we got faith in Blaber. The kid is ready to become the man, and he is stepping up, playing some good League of Legends here so far in 2020. 2-0-4, and he's the one dropping the Rift Herald there, making sure that turret falls in the mid lane, further extending the Cloud9 gold lead. This team is scary.
Good Herald usage will open up more of their ability to roam. It also prevents WildTurtle and IgNar, the Senna Tahm Kench, from pushing up midway, because now they have more flanks to respect. And also, fun fact, that's now 8 Heralds in 5 games secured by C9, right? A lot of times, 2 Heralds don't go down in a whole game. C9 has gotten 80% of all possible heralds so far this year.
Yeah, that's pretty extreme. One thing I also want to point out here, I think an important itemization breakpoint that needs to be noticed. Vulcan's Stoneplate on this Nautilus is completed. Stoneplate Rush on tank supports is the new age meta. It lets you just go in there, be a massive target, a huge DPS sponge for your team. If you look across the board, IgNar does not have the same item completed yet. He has components. There's a Chain Vest, there's a Magic Mantle. But if either of these supports get caught out, it's very easy for Vulcan to survive. For IgNar, I'm not singing the same song.
And I think additively, looking at the damage profile of both teams will make Vulcan even tankier by comparison. Senna teams usually need something with high sustained DPS because Stoneplate supports exist. So Aphelios has that to cut through Tahm Kench. Rumble also has that to help burn down tanky targets. So really, again, Vulcan is at optimal power spike right now. He can be a true frontline tank engager.
Cloud9 have one tier 1 turret left to take down this game. That top lane FlyQuest turret still standing there, about 2/3 HP. See if they want to commit to this. They don't feel particularly compelled to do a crazy play for it, but if it's still standing, you might as well knock it down. Bottom side, you can see the top laners have rotated to the other end of the map. They both have TP, so if a fight breaks out, they could very easily join. Remember, FlyQuest also has the teleport advantage on mid lane and bottom, but considering they're so far behind this game, you kind of want to have everybody there should a fight break out immediately. Otherwise, by the time the TP is complete, you may have already lost.
But notice where WildTurtle has to stand right now on the minimap where Senna is. The fact that they've lost that mid turret and they have the Rumble Qiyana as well as all this vision throughout the jungle means that C9 is fairly free to just get shots on that turret over time as they're waiting for this next Infernal to spawn, or they can just get a fight in the jungle.
Vulcan going fishing yet again. Throw the mana cask. He's going to need a drink after that one. Flash don't make it over the wall, and back to the fountain he goes. Vulcan grabs the kill.
Beautifully done. They can continue chipping away on this top turret. They could force Baron if they're feeling really spicy, or they could take the more conservative play and just get the Infernal Drake in 30 seconds to put them one away from Soul Point.
Santorin in the brush. Gonna be just checked there by Blaber. He's got the barrels. This Gragas is so far ahead of the Jarvan too. Look at Jarvan's inventory. It's a Cinder Hulk and a non-fully completed boot. While if you look across the board, Blaber's got Sorcerer Shoes, Runic Echoes, and an entire Zhonya's Hourglass. Woo. He's very strong in this Gragas.
Oh, that hurts to see. And then they have just that like nice damage profile as well with the AD Assassin plus basically AP Assassin coming out of the jungle. What are you gonna do, Flowers?
Probably die a lot if you're on FlyQuest trying to frontline against this. You practically have to go in and be the sacrificial lamb and hope the DPS missteps. But again, on Zven, 2-0-4 with the Aphelios, almost full kill participation. The man's been having a great split here so far. And the Infernal Drake will fall to Cloud9. FlyQuest recognize they can't try to challenge this, not at the state of the game right now. And that means Soul Point for C9, just shy of 27 minutes. That fourth Drake will spawn, and FlyQuest will have to make a decision on whether or not the Soul is worth fighting for.
Yeah, they generally need to try and make as many plays on sides as possible around PoE.
Oh! PoE using the stasis, trying to make an outplay here. IgNar and Santorin show up to help, but Nisqy buys enough time, makes it so they can't make any sort of a move against him. He does expend both summoners.
Yeah, gets the stopwatch out of PoE though, so not bad all things considered. Like, I think depending on C9's risk tolerance right now, it's totally a good play to just wait the 4 minutes and 20 seconds and then fight at Infernal. If we look at how like FlyQuest's composition could have worked, it's if they didn't get so blasted by the original Rift Herald play, which then snowballed around the map, because you can see like Diana is a good side lane matchup against the Qiyana, and Aatrox is also a good side lane matchup against Rumble. The 1-3-1 totally could have worked. It's just the fact that C9 has out-executed so far. So right now, I do think we're gonna chill for about 4 minutes and then get that next Infernal Drake.
Just completed on his last back, Licorice was able to pick up Morellonomicon. Full item means he's able to reduce the healing of Viper in the ultimate form. Also going to shut down some of that Senna healing throughout the team fight. So any sort of the sustain that you would see from the team fight of FlyQuest is going to be further reduced, meaning life just gets harder for nature's favorite team. Cloud9 setting up shop in the jungle here now, laying down some of the vision. With all those tier 1s gone, it means you feel safer to push up, get that vision line down, make your opponent's map darker, make them more afraid to step up.
they are threatening a lot of Baron side vision control 3 minutes before the Infernal Drake goes up. You can only put so much vision down on the map. Like if they do want to secure Infernal vision in 3 minutes, they're actually going to lose their Baron vision. But I can't fault them too much. Like it's something to do while they wait for Infernal to come up.
Viper grabbing that bottom lane tier 1 turret. 24 minutes into the game, FlyQuest claims their first turret. And it's the bottom lane tier 1, not the most useful thing.
Right,
Viper looking to make his stand here against Licorice. 1v1, and Viper is showing off the power of the World Ender.
Here comes Nisqy.
Throw Licorice up into the air there, needs a little bit more damage. The cavalry has arrived, and Viper cannot complete his task in time. Nisqy picks up the kill.
Viper did his best. That's just wasn't good.
About all he could do. You're not running away from the Electro Harpoons, so stand and fight. Die with your boots on.
Definitely a little bit baited by the fight from Licorice. Still actually creating pretty good sideway pressure, right? Like they were able to get 2 of these turrets down. The gold's a little bit frozen. They're coming back a little bit. Respect the effort for sure.
But that effort is not showing the results they want. It's 2 minutes until that final Drake Soul is there. 2 fully completed lethality items on Nisqy's Qiyana. Fighting around the river, so dangerous when the Supreme display of talent is ready to go. You can see the stopwatch ready on Licorice's Rumble, which has been contributing a lot of damage to the fights here so far. 2 crit items plus another cloak puts Zven's Aphelios at 70% total critical strike chance. The DPS is going to be massive in the upcoming fight.
Yeah, Zven is absolutely terrifying if they can get any type of CC layering. No active stopwatches left on FlyQuest actually, so whatever Vulcan presses R on, Licorice can also press R on with Rumble, and that target is just probably dead.
The stone plate is complete on IgNar's Tahm Kench.
True.
So we do have that. There is a defensive item there.
This is interesting. They're actually going for the Baron right now, so they could have waited another minute, but they don't want the split push to get too powered up. They want to do something now.
Remember, Santorin does have the opportunity to make this a 50-50. Does FlyQuest make their stand? Baron is going to be dropped off. PowerOfEvil, Santorin into the pit. Baron is going to be taken very low. Licorice, the man who secures it. PowerOfEvil going to be melted away. Santorin already down now as well. Licorice grabbing the killing spree. Nisqy on the side, looking to cut off the escape route. FlyQuest have already lost 2. It's a 2 for 0. Nisqy's got the supreme display of talent. IgNar going to be burned away next. The projectiles are flying. FlyQuest is dying. That is a clean play coming out from Cloud9.
Whew, they get the Baron, they'll get the Infernal in 30 seconds, but Flowers, that looks stealable. I'm just saying.
It was at 180 HP for a real long time.
That was popping around. I thought for sure C9 would go for some type of fight, but that is one way. You have the fastest average game time in the league. You got to take risks occasionally. I would have liked to see him take it for. Let's watch this one more time. They do have Aphelios sentries set up, and PoE jumps in with Santorin to burst. So I actually love this. C9 likely just wanted to stop damage at 2k, but FlyQuest went to force it down from 2k. In doing so, though, they use all of their Diana engage, which completely exposes them for the ensuing team fight that Nisqy is able to get some lockdown on before Zven runs through for more kills.
And Cloud9, now they've got an 11-1 lead, and they've got a fight on their hands.
The flank.
Tahm Kench goes in behind. Can FlyQuest do anything with this? I don't think so. PowerOfEvil's already out of there. IgNar taken very low. They're going to get 1 in retaliation. Turtle's burning away. Zven follows up on it. Santorin's just trying to hobble out. That is a 4 for 1. Cloud9 did lose their jungler, but is there any possible way they lose the Drake? No, sir. That is Infernal Soul for C9.
I'm just saying, it's pretty incredible that Zven is just adding to that miraculous KDA. It was 51 before this game. It's 64. Math. It's one of those numbers that's higher than it was before. It's got to be approaching.
Yes, of course.
It has to be approaching an LCS record. It's actually, like, it is touching what he is doing, but, like, the history nerd in me says, Zven, you could go for 100.
What was Chovy's record in the LCK when it was crazy? It was over 100.
It was getting close to that, yeah.
It was about 100. So Zven's still got a little bit more work to go towards that. But damn it, the man isn't playing some fine League of Legends here in Season 10. FlyQuest have lost a mid lane inhibitor. Yeah, he's just, this is what you want to see, Eddie, right? This is what AD carries aspire to be, man.
Yeah, 63 is the current KDH for Zven. I'd love to know what the LCS record is for start of season. That's going to be like a difficult pull. We'll get that eventually. watching this fight. You see Blaber separate WildTurtle on the bottom right of that screen as FlyQuest was trying to flank. So like the IgNar PoE flank was an okay idea, but it just couldn't be followed up by the rest of the team. And then the equalizer after it all funneled in was just adding insult to injury. It's over.
Right down on 3 members, just completely claims the team fight for Cloud9, plants a flag in it. And now, let's see how they're going to end this game. It should be swift, and it should be, just really not that great for FlyQuest.
He's got Zonyas as well.
Just turns this around, 1v2. You're not trapped in here with, I'm not trapped in here, I messed it up, whatever. They're still gonna be forced away as FlyQuest is on the back foot permanently. Cloud9 pushing that top lane up.
Infernal Soul Rumble is one of the goofiest things you can see. PoE actually achieved this in his mid-Rumble game when he had one of the highest DPS games of the year for him. You saw it right there too, just like, it's completely absurd how much damage you can do. I think they end on this push. Let's see if Zven runs it down.
One last chance, FlyQuest. It's gonna take some kind of a miracle here. Let's see them make their stand. Cloud9 going for the end of the game. There comes your root! The Moonlight Vigil sends them back into the fountain. Nexus turret number 1, it's gone. Nexus turret number 2, that's the target. Vulcan on the front line, Stoneplate ready to go. There comes your follow-up engage. In from Blaber, Stasis also coming out to dodge away from the Dawning Shadow.
FlyQuest is still alive.
FlyQuest trying to do anything, but there's nothing they can do. Zven and the rest of Cloud9 are taking it all the way to FlyQuest. He can't make it into the fountain. 7-0-7, Cloud9, they got themselves another win.
Huh. I didn't think it was going to end just like that. I thought it was going to be a C9 victory, but FlyQuest didn't all in down the stretch, so it was never safe for Zven to jump into the fountain.
Yeah.
I'm happy he hadn't died.
When the biggest problem you have in a game of League of Legends is your AD carry couldn't int it at the very end of the fountain, I feel like you played a good game of League of Legends.
They played a great game of League of Legends. One of their best games of the year, where there have been very few mistakes from them. From start to finish, the way they just were drilled in their setup of Rift Herald, but also skilled enough to out-execute when FlyQuest went to challenge them. That's the combination that makes you wonder, when will they actually lose? Because sure, like, little things can happen that make it go wrong, but this team hasn't been behind in a game the whole split. Like, sure, maybe there's been like 10 or 15 gold they've down, but the major deficit stat, which means the other team has a 1.5%, like they're 51.5% of the team's goal. There's a 0% major deficit for Cloud9 of the year. Every game has been even or ahead for the whole game.
I mean, you've said it's just been nothing but up and to the right. And look at the game. 2 deaths the entire time. The mid laner dies once in an early fight for a Drake, and then your jungler dies once and you get an Infernal Soul for it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only time any of these guys died. Support, AD carry, top laner, none of them dead even a single time. It was a great game from Cloud9. We're gonna be planting tons of trees for that one. And for more on the matchup, let's send it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's another one for Cloud9 as they move to 5-0, absolutely smashing the league so far, and in particular, dismantling FlyQuest in this game. Once again, Meteos is joining us. We will be talking to Blaber in just a bit, so stand by for that interview. And let's start by talking about that guy. Blaber put on quite a performance today.
Yeah, that game was pretty nutty. I was saying it during the game while we were watching, but I really feel like this C9 is one of the best teams I've played against or seen. Their entire team is so in sync, so aggressive, and they just never really seem to miss their opportunities to punish. So
this reminds me of the run that Dignitas/Clutch had last season, where they had the Rumble, the Gragas, these big team fight Qiyana ultimates, and were just doing so much with it, but spearheaded in a way by Vulcan. You know, you have Vulcan, hey, here are some of these ideas, some of these picks we could have. Blaber, what could you do with it? What could you do with it, Nisqy? Turns out they're even better than what the Dignitas Clutch lineup were using.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I said it in the countdown that this team looked better than summer TL, and if they don't, Brox doesn't come in and become an upgrade, they're the favorites for the split for me, and I still feel that way. That is such a stomping of what was looking like the second, third best team right now. They have Dignitas tomorrow, where they'll get another chance to prove it, but they seem leaps and bounds better than anyone else in the league right now.
And that's why I think it's cool to hear straight from you that this is one of the strongest teams you've had the pleasure of playing against in the LCS.
Pleasure.
The pleasure, or I don't know. Yeah, right?
I do think it's a pleasure. You know, I love playing against really good teams. It's just nice to watch. Pretty much any time you make a mistake, you get punished for it. Even when you don't know you're making a mistake, you get punished for it. So I always really enjoy playing against good teams. I think right now they're playing super, super well. Really in sync, just aggressive. They back each other up. They play fast, and yeah, you know, it's something that drives
You speak of backing each other up. That's exactly what happens in the mid lane as I go to you, Crumbs.
Yeah, I have to ask you because you're seeing what Santorin is doing, and you know what kind of jungler he is, and this is a play that comes off of an attempt to catch out Vulcan, but I think this just highlights the team fighting that Cloud9 has and how quickly they're able to collapse. And what I wanted to ask you, Medius, is do you think that Blaber's playstyle has now just kept true and the entire team is just playing around him and allowing him to be this aggressive? Or has it just been something else about this team or about a player that's making them be so aggressive?
I think it's probably just a full team mentality thing, because if you watch this play, even though it was FlyQuest kind of starting the play, C9 reacted much faster. You saw Licorice TP'd in right away, even though Aatrox had it available as well. And so it just feels like they're always ready to fight, like pretty much at any opportunity. And it's not something where, you know, they're probably having to communicate it super in depth, be like, okay, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. If they do this specific thing, we're going to TP. They're just always ready to go. And so, like, even when you try to surprise them, they're ready for it. So
Some of those Rumble ults were just straight nasty. Top-tier play from the top laner from Cloud9. Lastly, though, we got to check in on Zven's KDA.
Oh, baby.
Let's see how it's doing through 5 games. Still deathless.
65.
He jumps to 65. We need 35 more to hit that 100 mark. You think he can do it?
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. I don't know.
When do you guys, have you guys played yet?
We already played him.
Oh,
Yeah,
you already played him.
we
I was
gave
going to
him
say, are
some.
you like playing him tomorrow? Or
Yeah,
something?
we gave him a good amount.
Let's see. They've got Dignitas, TSM, and then EGCLG. So these next 2 games are going to be pretty tough.
You're not going to beat him anyway, so just end Zven. he walked in the offseason. You know, you can't let him get that record. So.
Yeah, you got to just
That's
play
your
to kill
goal.
him.
Yeah, that's the goal.
TSM grudge, just getting Zven down.
Fair enough. Well, for more on that win, Aphelios is hanging out with the Cloud9 jungler.
Thanks, Dash. I've got Blaber over here with me. We were listening to your discussion, actually. I do want to hit on some of those points, but Blaber, just coming to you first. What a game against FlyQuest. What did you think of your own performance today? Because I think it was like 3-1 and 10 was your final score?
Yeah, I think it was 3-1 and 11. But
excuse me, I missed that assist there.
but I think I played pretty well. I mean, to be honest, Gragas kind of just insanely overpowered, in my opinion. So being able to rotate it 4-5, I think let me and Nisqy do whatever we wanted.
Now, I do kind of want to touch on Crumbs's point. He did pose a question wondering, like, if your aggressive play style has changed Cloud9, or if Cloud9 is trying to change around it, or if maybe the entire team as a whole is just becoming a little bit more aggressive.
I feel like against us, a lot of teams struggle just in the laning phase, and that's why we're able to do so well. I think all 3 of my lanes are just really strong right now, and the way we play is pretty simple. It's just bot lane's usually winning, or almost always winning. Vulcan and me just go mid, 3-man Nisqy's lane, and then it just enables me, because if you have a bunch of winning lanes, then it's much easier to play as a jungler. So I think they definitely helped me a lot. I also think I've been playing a lot smarter towards the mid or late compared to before, and I think it has something to do with, being able to play full time.
Now, I do want to talk about you playing full-time in a second, but first, let's talk about a little bit more about your aggressive play style, because I was also watching. I cringed a little bit when you died, because I'm like, come on, you can go deathless this game. Prove to them that they're wrong, because you have always had such high kill participation. But last year, your death count was a little bit higher, averaging, I think it was around like 4 or 5 or something like that. But now, I think the most amount of deaths you've had in a game so far has been 3. So are we seeing a little bit more of a controlled Blaber going into this split?
Yeah, I think so. I think if I keep playing smart, I think honestly we're gonna be unstoppable this split. But I mean, TL does have Brox right now, so we don't know for sure. But I've definitely been trying to play more careful. The game I had 3 deaths. I think it was on Lee Sin. I really ran it down. Yeah, Reaper was not happy with it, but I've definitely been trying harder for sure to think about what I'm doing, and if my plays are too aggressive, or they're really good.
So has your performance so far loosened the grip that Reaper has had around you a little bit, allowed you to maybe be a little bit more flexible with your champions in the jungle?
Well, Reaper's always been really flexible with my champs in the jungle. He pretty much lets me play whatever I want, whatever I think is good. Before, it's like when I first started, I thought Kench was broken, so that's all I played. And then, I mean, now I think Lee Sin's really strong, so it's my most played. So yeah, he lets me try out things in scrims. He doesn't really care unless it's like, or we're trying to prep for the match. But besides that, he's generally letting me play whatever I want.
All right, now let's talk about you officially joining this split as the jungle starter for Cloud9. 5 games now so far that you've been the starter, and since you've always been splitting time with Zven in the jungle position, tell me about the moment that it really, I guess, clicked for you to realize, like, I can finally claim this position as my own, no more standing in his shadow.
It was definitely after Worlds, for sure. That I mean, I didn't know it was going to be with C9. That wasn't like decided at all. But after the split, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to start full time, whether it's on C9 or on another team. I mean, it happened to be C9, which I'm really happy for. We're playing really well, but I think I was just glad that I got a full starting spot after Worlds last year.
That's really interesting. Can you tell us at all a little bit about maybe the conversations that you had with Coach when you were asking, like, listen, I deserve this starting spot. Put me in, Coach.
I mean, Dennis probably, I don't know what they talked about, but he probably had the same conversation where, like, we both said, we're not going to do this anymore. We don't want to split time. And it was actually with Jack that we had the conversation with. And I mean, I just told him straight up, like, I want to start. And I hope it's here, but I definitely want to start somewhere.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that. I mean, right now I think that you are proving that you deserve this spot. But Cloud9 was also the team that yoinked you out of scouting grounds and picked you up there. So tell me about what your expectations were when you were first picked up by the team versus how everything's played out now so far.
Well, I mean, when I first started the team, I was playing Academy with Jensen, Sneaky, and Smoothie.
Yeah, it was a little stacked in your favor.
Yeah, so I think I was able to learn a lot more than most rookies are able to in my first split. And I mean, I guess like them underperforming ended up being good for me too in LCS because then I got to play.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels good for sure. Yeah, just thinking about it, I think I got really lucky.
Lucky you did. Well, actually, I do want to bring up, we saw some tweets come up on Twitter, and they were actually a little concerning to me, and they were regarding you. So I think we could go ahead and bring them up, and I'd really like to know your thoughts on them. What is this? Blaber, what is this? Scrim's going great. Top laner Licorice tweets this. Scrim's going great. Can't wait for LCS. Describe this picture for me, please.
I don't know what he's tweeting. Like,
you don't know what he's tweeting?
Like that specific day, I was really carrying my team.
So what's this?
I don't want to leak anything, but Nisqy was playing Lee Sin mid.
Oh yeah, that's what it is? Nisqy was playing Lee Sin mid?
Yeah, so I don't want to leak anything, but, you know, we role swap sometimes, me and Nisqy. So I play mid champs in the jungle. Yeah, that wasn't me.
All right, I guess we're going to have to take your word for it or wait for some of the more spicy tweets. Blaber, thank you again for joining me over here. And again, congratulations on your win. That's it for us over here. Dash, what'd you think of those questionable tweets?
I mean, there is very clearly no proof. I didn't see nameplates. Did you?
Could have been Nisqy.
Could have been Nisqy.
I think actually the fact that it was cropped in is more evidence that it is
Right.
Blaber.
Licorice was.
Licorice would have shown it.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise,
something very fishy going on over there in the C9 camp. That's inner turmoil right there. This team's about to implode. No. The reality of the situation here for Cloud9 is that they are hard smashing the league again, 5-0. What speaks to me though about that interview there was Blaber's response to the question about their success so far, and the fact that he says, hey, jungling's really easy when all of your lanes are winning. And to your point from earlier in the day, Mark, we have yet to see Cloud9 get put pretty far behind. So we haven't seen them navigate their way out of that losing situation yet. We've only seen them in winning situations.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes both ways with jungle and laning, where the jungler's actions influence lanes and the laner's actions influence jungle. So
not a one-way street. That's an important.
Yeah, definitely.
clarification.
It's not the case that like Blaber's just getting carried, because he's definitely making really good plays all the time. But I'm sure his laners are also like playing very well. So just overall, I think solid team.
The other thing that was really interesting he added in there was that he's been focusing more on mid and late game shot calling, which I think is probably something he noticed in his own play from when he subbed in for Sven Skaren a couple of times, the difference in how good they were coming back when Sven was in versus they lost a couple of games when even ahead in summer. So I think that's really intelligent for him to find the areas of his game that he can continue to level up. We know he's really aggressive in the early game. We know he has a pretty defined play style in that way, but where can he improve?
Well, it seemed like 3 deaths to him is running it down. So I feel like this is a player. Did you not feel like 3 deaths?
I wish my
Was that against?
His scoreline there was 5-3-11, and it was you guys who gave it to him. Yeah, right? Hey, that's.
I wish my solo queue
something.
teammates ran it down. with
I'm
only 3
curious to
deaths.
track what other players' attitudes towards running it down. Is 3 deaths the number that is too high? Because if that's what our best teams think, then
I run it down.
this is a very high standard.
Well,
that I think
I-
it's hard to-
3 deaths.
I imagine it comes down to the type of game. If you're smashing them and you
Yeah,
don't have to
3
die
deaths,
3 times,
yeah.
then it's too many.
If your team
but-
has 4 deaths and you have 3 of them,
In that case, they had 5 deaths, and he was 3 of them. So he was a majority of the team's deaths. Anyway, we digress. As we wrap up the day, let's see how the teams stack up. Once again, you'll see Cloud9 at the top there. 5-0.
That's me.
Whoa.
What?
You guys are up
good.
there?
Yeah.
what are you doing up there?
Damn.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, a total cluster of teams at 3-2, right? Before the conversation was just Cloud9, Dignitas, FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, TSM slotting in second place. It's making up for quite a sweet race, top 6.
Yeah, and Team Liquid now losing record. Meteos put him there.
Team who?
Team Liquid.
Team who? Huh? Who are they?
Team
Is
waiting
that
for
one
Brock.
of the only times
Are they good?
that Liquid's had a negative record, no?
I would have to think if they had any of those other
They
splits.
may have.
At the beginning,
They
maybe.
started slow a couple
I was gonna
times.
say,
But I don't know if they
possibility
ever-
in the spring that they had a rough.
They have a
first
sub though,
week.
so it's not like
Yeah.
super worrying trend.
Do you think that this is only due to substitution, not who we want to
Nah,
start, or
dude.
do you think they're actually struggling beyond that?
It's hard to say. I mean, I know that definitely when you have a sub come in, especially if the person's like not as experienced as the rest of the team, then he's got a lot of catching up to do, and it can kind of like throw everyone else's flow off, because rather than just focusing on what you're supposed to be doing, you're trying to like help the new guy figure out what he's doing too. So I think that could play part of it. I don't know. I'm not like sitting in on their team meetings or anything like that. At least they don't know about it. But
Or to their knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the teams did. Let's see how you guys did with your
Let's
predictions.
not.
Hey, you started things off real hot, Crumbs, with that CLG call.
oh wow, nice prediction.
But 1-3 stands the prediction scoreline for Crumbs at the end of the day. The TSM calls and the Cloud9 calls feel
But
good.
I mean, who in their right mind ever would have predicted 100 Thieves to be
over
Team Liquid?
Excuse
yeah,
me.
Meteos versus Sternfire's, that's a lopsided matchup, to say the least. Everyone knows Sternfire's going to come out on top in that one.
All right.
The price for CLG to win was very steep. That's what I'll say. I came off the victor in stock markets, so at least I won somewhere.
Stocks are riding high for now. We'll see how they do tomorrow and the rest of the week. The LCS does return tomorrow with Immortals versus 100 Thieves. We got Dignitas challenging Cloud9 in Game 3 and 2 more matches before we call it for Day 2. A reminder that we'll have a 3rd day of action, though, with Monday Night League after Sunday's games, followed by Bud Light League Lounge. Looking at those matchups tomorrow, first I'm going to come to you up against Immortals, Smithy, longtime jungle opposition of yours. Probably one of your most experienced matchups. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, we're feeling pretty good because we won against Liquid today, and I think on paper, if you're playing against Liquid and Immortals, the Liquid one's going to feel like the tougher match. But that's also a huge trap to fall into, because it's like, oh yeah, we beat Liquid, this one will be no problem.
Right.
And then we might just run it. But I think we're just going to try to focus on all the stuff we've been focusing on, even in today's game. I think we've made a lot of progress as a team, but always stuff to work on. And I think for Immortals, they haven't had like a ton of time to play together. So I'm sure they're going to improve a lot as they get more practice. So not going to have too many expectations, just going to try to do our best, and hopefully we can win.
How does that affect your prep if you haven't seen them play, right? You have to go into tomorrow. They've seen you play against Team Liquid. You don't know what they're doing.
Well, I mean,
patch with the Soraka.
we've seen them in the past couple of weeks. I mostly meant like they've been tweeting out that like they didn't have a lot of time to scrim together. So we don't always know like what they're going to be preparing. So
All I'm saying is that if I see 3 or more deaths from you, I'm calling it that you're in
ran it down.
You're running
all
it
right,
down.
if I get 2, I'm AFK.
That's it. Yeah, just
I'm done.
park it in the fountain for the rest of the game. If you need more league action, head on over to twitch.tv/academy or youtube.com/LUL Esports for the Academy Showcase taking place right after the break. That's going to do it for us, though. Thank you so much, Meteos, for joining us. Now for myself, the casters, the entire LCS crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you after the break for the Academy Showcase.
Can't make a play off of it.
Yeah, Blaber's threatening for sure. Has ultimate if he gets the slow. Yeah,
Here comes Nisqy, chain CC.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, we can re-engage him. Dead. He's dead. Nice.
Maybe a D?
Yeah, I flash out. I'm nothing. He's slowed.
Got him.
Nice.
Miss.
Let's make their stand. Baron is going to be dropped off. PowerOfEvil, Santorin into the pit. Baron is going to be taken very low. Licorice, the man who secures it. PowerOfEvil going to be melted away. Santorin already down now as well.
I'm dead. They're cooking. Yeah. Dragon. Yeah, look at him. Chase.
Come on, Dragon.
Nice. Yeah.
Wait, don't we just end if we go mid? Okay, no, it's fine, just